quickly to our next story. Peace is still far from the Ganduje ward of the All Progressives Congress APC in Dawakin, Tofa local government area of Kano State after the purported suspension of the party's national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje. The situation is witnessing a further escalation as a Kano State High Court granted an ex parte order restraining the police from inviting, arresting and harassing APC ward officers behind the suspension of Ganduje. The court also ruled that the interim order for the motion on notice and all other processes in the suit be served on all the respondents before the next adjourned date. Gentlemen, it's definitely not a good time for Ganduje. I mean, you have the state governor trying to pin him down over some alleged corruption cases, and you also have him battling some internal crisis within his party.
I was asking who is beating the drum that these guys are dancing. You know,
well, he's saying the people are from NNPP.
You know, it's really a tough time for the APC national chairman. You might say it's not tough, but it's a tough time for him because this is coming from his own ward, not another. It's his own ward members, And it makes me remember during Oshomole's time too. Something like similar happened. But I don't know how he will be able to, wade off this. He has also gone to, the Federal High Court in Kano, and they've also given him a kind of a reprieve. But these people are not backing down. They are still going to court. They are still trying to, they went to, this time around, they went to court for, at least so that police will not even arrest them, or the IG,
yes,
will not even attempt to arrest them. Because that could be another thing, another plan from the other camp, I feel that maybe the president or the party as a whole can, step in. If these are true members of the party, they should step in and see what is really happening in Kano. Because we might just think, okay, it's just another case in court. But it has far-reaching implications if you look at it. And that is what most people are not looking at. The Ondo election, the Edo election is still there. So by the time you look, I don't want to go into the larger, the implication of it, because if you look at it, I feel that those who are in the party would also be looking at the major implication if they don't step in. If they don't know, there's a far-reaching implication if this goes on, if they remove Ganduje, because the entire thing will be disrupted. So I feel the president should step in.
Why?
Ask what these guys really want.
Okay.
Because if Ganduje is saying that these guys are not from the party, then who is sponsoring these guys? Because these guys are saying they are members of the party.
I mean, Ganduje is saying members of NNPP or the leadership of NNPP in Kano State.
That is it. But these guys are members of the party. If they are saying they are members of the party, it should be a family affair, whereby they will call them into a round table and ask them what their problem is. And that is the only way they can solve this, and tell them, go and withdraw your case, then whatever their problem is, they solve it. Because every day they will keep going to court. Every day the court will still get, at the end of the day, let me tell you where they will still go to they will go to the Court of Appeal. And that is where the whole thing will now, everybody will now know.
But talking about the party intervening at the national level, I know the national secretary of the party had, constantly reiterated that Abdullahi Ganduje is still the national chairman of the APC.
Yeah, but are these people backing down?
All right. Adeoye, let me bring you in. Just like Aziko said, we've seen this script several times with Adams Oshiomhole, with Iyo Chahayu. Is this a political coup?
Well, I think, first of all, there are political issues here. There are also constitutional issues. I think on the constitutional issues, first of all, we have to respect the judgment of Justice Yusuf Mohammed, who said, granted the order to restrain the AIG, the police, and the IG, from arresting the APC ward officials. But the decision of the State High Court is not infallible. We can debate it. I think there are a lot of issues that judgment has raised up. First of all is the issue of rule of law. The law says that everyone is equal before the law, and that the people that have immunity, is clearly specified from being probed, from being arrested, from being invited by law enforcement agents. So this idea of saying people cannot be invited, cannot be arrested, you are conferring immunity on ordinary citizens. And I think that is the politics of it. So we need to look at this issue from different angles. I think, first of all, the order suspending the APC chairman by his word. What were the allegations against him? Did they pass through normal procedures? Was he invited to come and defend himself? Was there a committee set up to address grievances they have against him? Did he steal the world's money? What were his offenses? So was there a kind of fair hearing? So I think this is an extension of the politics in Kano between the ruling party and the opposition. That's my very strong suspicion. And you see, it appears as if the APC has been infiltrated by external forces. And I think the goal is that, look, we must embarrass this man right from his ancestral home. Because I look at the position of, suspend him, and on what ground? Have the world people, have they exploited options within the party to resolve the so-called crisis that they have? So I think we need to be very conscious that the judiciary should not take over the role of the police.
Absolutely.
The police should have the right to invite anybody. However, this is an interim order, which can be squashed by a court of higher jurisdiction. That's what they also said in the case of Kogi, that, police should not arrest. But if it's a case of ordinary person that has stolen a goat, the police, nobody will get another to say, don't arrest him. If it's a question of just police inviting you, I don't think any court should now make it a standard that this person, should not. The police can invite you, but they cannot judge you. The case will still be taken to court for the judiciary to determine whether you are guilty or not. But by saying you cannot be arrested, confers on you a kind of immunity. And I don't think it's very good for our judicial system.
But do you think this political enemies, so to say, of Abdullahi Ganduje will succeed? Not forgetting that many say Ganduje has a rich resume when it comes to fighting and winning political battles.
I think, to me, it's as if the current leadership in Kano State has made one of his directive principles of policy that we must bring down Ganduje. But he needs to be very careful. Ultimately, 3 years will come again. The people will be the ones to determine your fate. And I don't think it is just every time you come to power, then you must seek after the destruction of your predecessor, on frivolous grounds. If there are genuine grounds, people can, but this time, after demolition, then you move to the world and all that. I think there are people beating the drums behind. That's we may not have evidence, but we have very strong feeling that this is what is going on. But at the end of the day, I think he's going to get another from a higher court of jurisdiction that will squash, this. It may end up in a case where there will be crisis in that world, and if they are not strong politicians at the world level, they might be the one to lose out at the end.
Gentlemen, this political war between Ganduje and Kwakwanso, will it ever end?
It can never end.
It can never end?
Yeah, it can never. It's just like saying Shekarau and Kwankwaso. They can't sit in the same room.
What if the president intervenes, like you suggested?
For this case, fine, the president can't intervene.
No, I'm talking about Kwakwanso and Ganduje.
I don't know how the president will be able to do it, but I know the president has his own, he has the keys when it comes to negotiating and putting two people together, two enemies together, because this is a very big, this is 2027 at play. this is 2027 at play. And the president has to also look at it because he needs the votes in Kano. He got a chunk of the votes in Kano, okay, in the last election. And this time around, he needs more. He really needs more. So the only way he can get that vote is for there to be peace. Either in his party, yes, peace in his party, yeah, because those are the people, those will be his foot soldiers anyway, to do campaigns and all that. So he needs to see how he can intervene and see what the real problems are. I'm very sure the president would have even known who is actually beating this drum for these guys to be dancing. You understand? So I feel that the president at some point is either going to call them and see how we can resolve this matter. Because if it continues like this, one will lose out. It's either those guys lose out and they are removed from the party, or they will have to sacrifice Ganduje.
Right. But again, what does this say about APC's internal mechanisms at resolving crisis? This is 2024. Yeah. And, I mean, everyone now goes to court. And I know that we know that the judiciary should not intervene.
The courts are open. That's
we know that the judiciary should not intervene in the internal affairs of a party without clear evidence that the party's internal mechanisms have been exhausted.
You see, this crisis is a minor one, but with significant national focus.
Do you think it's minor?
In the sense that the National Working Committee of the APC
has already taken a stand.
Has taken a decision.
Okay.
So, but this thing is happening at the ward level.
And which can cause a lot of damage.
Yes, with significant focus, national focus, because we are talking of the national chairman of the party.
The ruling party.
So it's like you are having a tiny man who cannot beat you, but he's staying somewhere, throwing stones at you. And each time you move forward, his short man will just, to make sure that he gives you a lot of problems. So, but I think that the president should assert his moral authority to call both the word. It shows that they cannot be ignored, even though they are they cannot be ignored because they are making him say, look, from your word, you are suspending him. So no matter how small they may seem to be, they can cause significant damage. So I think the president should be able to do something, the way he has done in other instances.
All right, gentlemen, let's come back to Lagos. For a mega city like Lagos, accommodation